Maya's 25th birthday was supposed to be the biggest night of her life. A rooftop party overlooking the city, glowing lights everywhere, gold decorations, champagne fountains, and a DJ spinning loud music. Everything looked expensive, and that's exactly how she wanted it. But there was one person at the party who didn't fit the glamorous picture. Her mother, Loretta. A soft-spoken 62-year-old black woman with gentle gray curls, wearing her favorite pastel dress, the same one she wore to church on Sundays. She held a small velvet box wrapped in gold paper tightly in her hands. She kept adjusting her dress nervously while waiting for the right moment to hug her daughter. She wasn't used to fancy places. And she certainly wasn't used to crowds filled with young, wealthy people who judged before they listened. Still, she came because she loved Maya more than anything. Earlier that morning, Loretta said softly, "Baby, I have something important to give you today." Maya had hugged her quickly and replied, "Just don't make things weird at the party, okay?" Loretta pretended she didn't feel the sting behind those words. At the rooftop, Maya greeted guests one by one, hugging friends, taking selfies, laughing loudly. Whenever someone asked where her mom was, Maya either changed the subject or gave a quick, dismissive smile. She didn't want attention to shift away from her. She didn't want people noticing the one thing that didn't match her glamorous image. Her mother's simplicity. But Loretta watched her lovingly from the side, holding the velvet box close. Inside that little box was something priceless, something she had waited years to give her daughter. But Maya didn't know. Nobody knew. Finally, Loretta gathered her courage and stepped forward. "Sweetheart," she said softly, touching Maya's arm, "can I talk to you for a moment?" "I brought." But Maya was turned away, laughing with her friends. They looked Loretta up and down, whispering under their breath, "Is that her mom? She looks like she walked out of a thrift store. She doesn't match this vibe." Maya forced a tight smile and said quietly, "Mom, not now. Please." Loretta stepped back, trying to hide her embarrassment. Her hands trembled around the little box. Still, she didn't give up. A mother's heart never gives up. She waited until Maya wasn't surrounded by people, then approached again, offering the velvet box with a hopeful smile. What happened next changed everything. As Maya turned with a glass of red wine in her hand, someone bumped into her. The wine splashed forward, straight onto Loretta's chest. The deep red stain spread across her dress like a wound. The room went silent. And then? The laughter began. Loud. Cruel. Echoing. Maya froze. Loretta stood in shock. And the gift in her hand, the one worth $500 million, nearly slipped from her fingers. But the real humiliation hadn't even begun, because the moment Maya opened her mouth, she said something that would haunt her forever. The wine stain spread across Loretta's pastel dress, soaking into the fabric like a deep bruise. She stood completely frozen, gripping the small velvet box with shaking fingers. For a moment, the rooftop went silent. Then the laughter hit like a slap. "Damn. Look at her. That dress is done. Oh my God, that's embarrassing." People weren't even whispering, they were laughing out loud at a 62-year-old woman who had done nothing wrong. Maya felt every pair of eyes turn toward her. Her cheeks were burning, not with concern for her mother, but with embarrassment in front of her friends. One of her friends leaned in and whispered, "Girl, move her away from the center. This is your night." Loretta looked down, trying to wipe the wine off her dress with trembling hands. "It's okay," she whispered to herself. "It's just an accident." But then Maya said the words that would change everything. "Mom, why would you get so close? Seriously. You're embarrassing me." Loretta's breath caught. It felt like her heart stopped for a moment. Embarrassing? Her? The woman who raised her alone, worked 2 jobs, sacrificed her dreams, stood by her side through everything? Loretta swallowed hard. "I just wanted to give you something special," she whispered, voice cracking. Maya rolled her eyes, trying to protect her image. "Mom, not right now. And not with that." She pointed to the wet stain on her mother's dress. Someone from the crowd muttered loudly, "Honestly, she doesn't fit in here." Loretta blinked fast, holding the velvet box tighter. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to ruin anything." But Maya, panicking about her image, stepped back and said the cruelest thing she had ever said to her mother. "Just go sit somewhere. Don't walk around like this. You look unworthy." The word dropped like a knife. Unworthy. Everyone around heard it. Loretta felt something inside her collapse. She took a slow step back, shoulders trembling, tears gathering in her eyes. She looked at her daughter, the baby she once held against her chest, and suddenly felt like a stranger to her. Finally, her voice barely a breath, she said, "I didn't come here to embarrass you, Maya. I came to give you something I've protected your whole life." Maya frowned impatiently. "What? Some cheap little gift from the thrift store?" Loretta looked down at the small velvet box. Inside it was the truth Maya didn't know. A truth connected to a $500 million legacy. But in that moment, Loretta realized Maya didn't deserve to hear it. Not yet. Loretta turned and walked slowly toward the exit, leaving behind the laughter, the stares, and the daughter who had forgotten her worth. But just as Loretta reached the elevator, someone stormed into the party, someone who knew the secret behind that velvet box, and their words would flip the entire room upside down. Loretta pressed the elevator button with shaking fingers, her vision blurry from tears she tried so hard to hide. Behind her, the laughter from the party faded into a dull echo. She clutched the velvet box tightly against her chest as though it were the only thing keeping her heart from falling apart. Just as the elevator doors began to open, a voice shouted from across the rooftop. "Loretta! Wait, don't leave." Everyone turned. The music stopped. And Maya froze when she saw who it was. Mr. Harris. Her late grandmother's longtime attorney, and the guardian of the Kensington family legacy. He walked fast, almost running, his face pale with shock as he looked around the room, taking in the wine stain on Loretta's dress, the stares, the judgment. When he reached her, he didn't even hide the anger in his voice. "My God, what happened here?" he demanded. Loretta wiped her face quickly. "It's nothing, really. I just..." But he turned toward the guests, his voice sharp as a knife. "Nothing? Is that what this was? Because it looks like humiliation. It looks like mockery. It looks like this woman, this extraordinary woman, was disrespected in front of everyone." People shifted uncomfortably. Someone lowered their champagne glass. Maya stepped forward, embarrassed. "Mr. Harris, it was just an accident." But he cut her off. "An accident doesn't make a room full of adults laugh at a 62-year-old woman." Maya's face went red. Mr. Harris then looked at the small velvet box in Loretta's trembling hands. "You brought it today?" he asked softly. Loretta nodded. "I wanted it to be a surprise." "A surprise?" Maya repeated, confused. "For what? What's even inside that box?" Everyone was watching now. Phones lowered. Music stopped. All eyes on the mother Maya had just called Unworthy. Mr. Harris stepped closer to Maya, his voice steady and cold. "You really don't know, do you?" Maya shook her head slowly. Mr. Harris sighed. "That box contains the transfer papers, the ones naming Loretta's chosen heir to the Kensington Trust." Whispers rippled through the room. "The Kensington what? No way. She's joking, right?" Mr. Harris continued. "The Kensington Trust controls over 30 properties, multiple companies, and generational investments. Its current valuation is just over $500 million. A woman gasped. Someone dropped their drink. Maya stared at her mother like she was looking at her for the first time in her life. "Mom," she whispered. You're the heir?" Loretta looked at her daughter peacefully, though her eyes still glistened with hurt. "I was going to pass it to you today," she said softly. "Everything. All of it." Maya's breath hitched. "But after what you called me tonight..." Loretta swallowed. "I didn't think you saw me as someone worthy enough to give it to." The room felt like it had stopped breathing. Maya felt her knees weaken. Her voice trembled. "Mom, please. I didn't mean it. I didn't know." Loretta looked at her daughter, heartbreak heavy in her eyes. "Now you do." But the real shock was still coming, because when Maya finally opened the velvet box, she found something far more devastating than the $500 million she almost lost. Maya's hands trembled as Loretta slowly extended the velvet box toward her. The same box she had dismissed. The same box she had mocked. The same box she once called cheap. Now everyone watched in total silence. Maya swallowed hard, lifted the lid, and looked inside. She expected stacks of papers, something that screamed wealth. But instead, there was a single gold ring. Simple. Old-fashioned. Elegant. Maya frowned in confusion. "A ring?" Mr. Harris nodded. "That's not just any ring. That belonged to Maya's grandmother, and her great-grandmother before that. Every heir of the Kensington family has received it. It symbolizes trust, leadership, and legacy." Loretta spoke softly, pain woven through every word. "This ring means you are the person I believe will carry our family forward. The one I trust with everything." Maya's throat tightened. She remembered being a little girl and trying on that same ring in her mother's bedroom mirror, pretending she was a queen. She didn't know it was real. She didn't know it was hers. She didn't know her mother had protected it for decades. Maya closed her fingers around it and whispered, "Mom, I don't deserve this." Loretta blinked, tears threatening to fall again. "Tonight, you didn't act like my daughter. You acted like a stranger." Her voice cracked. And that hurt more than the wine, more than the laughter, more than anything. Maya felt the weight of everyone watching. The humiliation her mother endured. The cruelty she allowed. The pride she chose over love. She took a shaky step forward. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I let other people decide how I treated you. I cared more about looking perfect than being a good daughter. Loretta didn't speak. She just looked at her, really looked, and Maya felt her mother's disappointment like a storm inside her chest. I promise, Maya whispered, I will never let you feel unworthy again. Not ever. You are the only reason I have anything. The only person who's always been there for me. A tear rolled down Loretta's cheek. You can't erase what happened tonight, she said gently. But you can learn from it. Maya nodded, crying. I want to earn that ring, Mom. Not because of the money. But because it came from you. For the first time that night, Loretta's expression softened. She reached out, cupped Maya's face gently, and whispered. Then start by seeing me, not as an embarrassment, but as your mother. Maya nodded, overwhelmed. The two held each other tightly, a hug full of pain, healing, and unspoken promises. Behind them, the entire party watched silently. The glamour, the music, the expensive clothes, none of it mattered anymore. Because the moment Maya slipped the ring onto her finger, she realized something life-changing. Love is the real inheritance. And she almost lost it forever.